Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Monday, April 17th, 2023. Monster show today. Let's try if we can squeeze it in less than an hour. Doubt it, but we'll see. NBA playoffs, Major League Baseball, Stanley Cup playoffs again tonight. I have series picks and then picks for tonight's games. Soccer, golf, NASCAR, Idol from last night, NFL mock draft, MLB power rankings, news and notes, and best bets. So loaded show. We'll start with the playoffs. NBA playoffs got underway over the weekend. We had two play-in games on Friday for the right to be the 8th seed in the postseason. Friday night, the Heat over the Bulls, 102-91 to get the 8th seed. And then the Timberwolves over the Thunder, 120-95 to get that 8th seed. And then Saturday, Game 1, Sixers over the Nets, 121-101. Game 1, Celtics over the Hawks, 112-99. Game 1, Knicks over the Cavs, 101-97. And Game 1, Kings over the Warriors, 126-123. Sunday, Game 1, Lakers over the Grizzlies, 128-112. Game 1, Heat over the Bucks, 130-117. Giannis left the game due to a back injury there. And then Ja Morant left due to a hand injury in Game 1 in jeopardy for Game 2. Clippers over the Suns, 115-110. In Game 1, did that without Paul George, who might not play the entire series. And the Nuggets over the Timberwolves, 109-80. As they go up 1-0 in that series. And Jokic fouled out in that game. All right. A couple of Game 2s tonight. 7:30 on TNT. You have the Nets and the Sixers from Philadelphia. My projection is Philly by 8.5. Total 225 and 19/20. And FanDuel has this thing at 10 and 213 over. And I think Philly goes up 2-0. 10 o'clock TNT, you have the Warriors and the Kings. If I had to guess who calls what game, I'm going to say that's a tough one. I don't think we'll see Iron Eagle until Tuesday on TNT because you would think he's going to be on the Yes Network tonight for Nets Sixers. So I'm going to say we see Kevin Harlan and Reggie Miller in Philly and Brian Anderson and Stan Van Gundy in Sacramento. That would be my guesses. They do back-to-backs. So my projection, Kings by 6, total 237 and 11/20, and it's Golden State's a 1.5-point favorite, total 240. That's out of desperate that they're a favorite. I think they'll win one in Sacramento, but I don't know if tonight's going to be it. Maybe they win by 1 point. So I'll take Sacramento plus the 1.5. And maybe Sacramento wins by, or Golden State wins by 1 or something like that. Or Sacramento wins and goes up 2-0. All right, before we move on, two-team season came to an end. Now the Bulls in Oklahoma City. Start with the Bulls. Very disappointing year. After they lost that game to Miami, there's some people on social media saying, no, they should have blew it up at the trade deadline. This is what happens when you don't do the right thing at the deadline. Well, I disagree with that. I think people are saying that because the Dallas Mavericks, if they got destroyed in the playing game, people would be saying the same thing. And they probably really got that conversation going. And the Bulls, I think that they might blow it up in the summer. I think they might. And the reason why they didn't do it at the deadline is because they were close enough to the play-in games and be like, oh, maybe we have a shot to get the 8th seed. And then, so we'll see. I think they're a potential blow-it-up candidate for the summer. Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Vucevic is in a contract year. We'll see what happens with him. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the Bulls. I think that's going to be a different-looking roster next year. And then Oklahoma City, fantastic season. SGA makes a monster leap. He's going to be first team All-NBA. He's a finalist for Most Improved. And I think that this is a playoff team next year. If at gunpoint, I don't know if they dodged the play-in, but they're going to finish in the top 8 in the West next year if there's no injuries. They're going to get Chet Holmgren back for a whole season. So this team is going to look different next year, too, in a much improved way. And their coach is a finalist for Coach of the Year, too, and deservingly so. All right, now move on to Major League Baseball. We'll go over the weekend's games and look ahead to today's games. Friday, Marlins over the D-backs 5-1, Phillies over the Reds 8-3, Twins over the Yanks 4-3, Tigers over the Giants 7-5-11 on a walk-off homer by Phil Maton. Or no, I'm sorry, it was Nick Maton. Guardians over the Nats 4-3, Blue Jays over the Rays 6-3, Red Sox over the Angels 5-3, Orioles over the White Sox 6-3, Braves over the Royals 10-3, Rangers over the Astros 6-2, Cards over the Pirates 3-0, Mets over the A's 17-6, Brewers over the Padres 11-2, Cubs over the Dodgers 8-2, Mariners over the Rockies 5-3. Saturday, Yanks over the Twins 6-1, Tigers over the Giants 7-6-11 on a walk-off single by Miguel Cabrera. Pirates over the Cardinals 6-3-10, Blue Jays over the Rays 5-2, Guardians over the Nats 6-4, Padres over the Brewers 10-3, Mets over the A's 3-2, Red Sox over the Angels 9-7, Marlins over the D-backs 3-2, Braves over the Royals 9-3, Reds over the Phils 13-0, Astros over the Rangers 8-2, Dodgers over the Cubs 2-1, Mariners over the Rockies 9-2. And then Sunday, you had Yanks over the Twins 2-0, Red Sox over the Angels 2-1, Nats over the Guardians 7-6, Rays over the Blue Jays 8-1, D-backs over the Marlins 5-0, Phils over the Reds 14-3, Braves over the Royals 5-4, O's over the White Sox 8-4, Cards over the Pirates 5-4-10 on a walk-off single by Tommy Edman. Mets over the A's 4-3, Cubs over the Dodgers 3-2, Mariners over the Rockies 1-0, Brewers over the Padres 1-0, and the Rangers over the Astros 9-1 on Sunday Night Baseball. Giants Tigers postponed makeup date July 24th. All right, an 11 o'clock a.m. game today between the Angels and the Red Sox is the Boston Marathon game as Shohei Ohtani in the spotlight against Brayan Bello, who's making his debut for the season. Angels minus 138, Boston plus 118, over under 8, overs minus 120, unders minus 102. Angels minus 1.5 is plus 112, Red Sox plus 1.5 is minus 134. For this one, I'm going to go Red Sox under 3.5 runs, minus 106. 640, Guardians Tigers. Hunter Gaddis and Matt Boyd. Guardians minus 130, Tigers plus 110, over under 8, overs minus 118, unders minus 102. Guardians minus 1.5 is plus 128, Tigers plus 1.5 is minus 150. The Tigers are 80.9 on ESPN Analytics, and they're plus 110 in the betting market. What's up with that? Give me the Tigers plus 110. Giants Marlins. Logan Webb and Jesus Luzardo. Marlins minus 124, Giants plus 106, over under 7, overs minus 120, unders minus 102. Giants minus 1.5 is plus 168, Marlins plus 1.5 is minus 205, like full game under. Rays Reds. Jalen Beeks and Hunter Green. Rays minus 138, Reds plus 118, over under 9.5, overs even money, unders minus 122. Rays minus 1.5 is plus 114, Reds plus 1.5 is minus 137. For this one, I'm going to go, none of the nice ones are out. I'm going to take the trap game here. I'm going to go with the Reds plus 118. Hunter Green against the Rays offense. Let's see. Phil's White Sox, Zach Wheeler and Lance Lynn, battle of the disappointments. Phil's minus 118, White Sox even money, over under 8, overs minus 104, unders minus 118. Phil's minus 1.5 is plus 138, White Sox plus 1.5 is minus 166. For this one, I'm going to go with under 3.5, White Sox runs minus 110. Rangers Royals 740. Jacob deGrom and Jordan Lyles. Rangers -10, Royals +176, over under 7.5, overs -115, unders -105. Rangers -1/2 is -118, Royals +1/2 is -102. For this one, I'm going to go with Rangers over 4.5 runs at -108. 7:45, D-backs Cardinals. Merrill Kelly and Jack Flaherty. Cards -162, D-backs +136, over under 8.5, overs -115, unders -105. D-backs +1/2 is -142, Cardinals -1/2 is +118, full game under for that game. Blue Jays Astros at 8, maybe the ALCS preview. Kevin Gausman and Christian Javier. The Jays are favored, -118, Astros even money, over under 8, overs -115, unders -105. Jays -1/2 is +138. Astros +1/2 is -166. I'm going to take the Astros at even money to win. Pirates, Rockies at 8:30. Rich Hill, Kyle Freeland. Rocks -142. Pirates +120, over under 12. Unders -105. Unders -115. Pittsburgh +1/2 is -154. Rockies -1/2 is +128. I like the under a lot. Under 12, -115. Cubs A's at 9:30. Hayden Wesneski and Kyle Muller. Cubs -142, A's +120, over under 8.5, overs even money, unders -122. Cubs -1/2 is +114, A's +1/2 is -137. For this one, I'm going to go over 4.5 Cubs runs, even money. Brewers Mariners, Corbin Burns, Chris Flexen. Brewers -142, Mariners +120, over under 7.5, overs -118, unders -104. Brewers -1/2 is +125, Mariners +1/2 is -146. I like the full game over. Brewers Padres, or Braves Padres again. Max Fried and Ryan Weathers. So second time this year these two teams are facing off. Braves -152, Padres +128, over under 8.5, overs +102, and there's -124. Braves -1/2 is +112. Padres +1/2 is -134. For this one, I'm going to go under 4.5 Braves runs, -114. And last but not least, 10 o'clock, Mets Dodgers. Maybe that's an NLCS preview. David Peterson, Dustin May. Dodgers -148, Mets +126, over under 8.5, -110 each way. Mets +1/2 is -156, Dodgers -1/2 is +130. For this one, I'm going to go with over 3.5 Met runs, -118. All right, Stanley Cup playoffs. Before we get into my series picks, I'm going to go over the last of the regular season from Friday. Sabres over the Blue Jackets 5-2. Avs over the Preds 4-3 to win the Central Division. All right, to the series picks. We will start in the East, and we'll start with the President's Trophy winning Boston Bruins against the second wild card Florida Panthers. Okay, best guy in the series has to be David Pastrnak, who's had the year of his life this year on the Boston Bruins. He's just an elite goal scorer and really has developed into the guy that the Bruins dreamed of him to be. Coaching advantage, I would say, goes to Jimmy Montgomery over Paul Maurice, who took over for Andrew Burnett, who did a wonderful job as the intern coach last year. So my pick for the series, it kind of bothers me because I picked the Panthers to make the final before the season, and they massively underachieved this year. And considering how great Boston has been all season, I think this is a sweep. So, Boston in 4, it was plus 520. And Matt Tkachuk, who the Flames got, who the Panthers got from the Flames, has just been amazing this season. And Alexander Barkov still there. Like, I mean, I feel bad for picking the sweep, but I think it just says a lot about Boston and less about the Panthers, quite frankly. So I'm going to go Bruins at 4 plus 520. Next up in that same quadrant of the bracket, you have the 2 seed in Atlantic Division Maple Leafs and the 3 seed Tampa Bay Lightning. This should be another fun series. Rematch from last year. Best player in the series, Austin Matthews. Of the Maple Leafs, you could argue Andrei Vasilevsky. You could argue Nikita Kucherov. John Tavares is capable of having a big series. Mitchell Marner. So there's a lot of guys on each side. Braden Point that are capable. Victor Hedman. Yeah, this is a big star power series. Coaching advantage, John Cooper gets a major edge over Sheldon Keefe, who really hasn't proven himself to be a good playoff coach yet. And John Cooper's been to the last 3 Stanley Cup Finals, winning 2 of the last 3 cups. So pick for the series, I'm going to go with the Lightning in 7 games. I'm not picking the Maple Leafs in a playoff series until they prove it to me. Lightning. Oh, wait, I bet Lightning in 6 at plus 490. My pick is Lightning in 7. Did I really bet 6 by accident? Because my pick was 7. If I bet 6 by accident, so be it. Yeah, I did bet 6 by accident. Should be 7. I'm going Lightning in 7. I know I bet on 6. The odds for 7. Plus 570. I bet on the wrong one. Oh my goodness, am I mad at myself for that? But Lightning in 7, but I bet on 6. I don't know why I did that. All right, on the opposite side of the East bracket, you have your Metro Division winner, Carolina Panthers against the first wildcard New York Islanders. Should be another fun series. Best player in the series, Ilya Sorokin, I would say, is the best guy in the series. He's in play for the Vezina. Sebastian Aho is a great player. The loss of Andrei Svechnikov for Carolina is humongous. I don't know if they can go on a run without him in the postseason. But there's a lot of guys on the Canes roster that have the capability of stepping up. But I love Sebastian Aho. I think he's a fabulous player. And on the Islander side, Bo Horvat comes over in the trade, so he has a lot to prove as well. They got some guys back from injury, which helps them. So guess what? I'm going to pick the upset. I'm going to go with the Islanders in 6 games over the Florida Panthers, the Carolina Hurricanes, and that's plus 490. Or plus 590. Plus 590. I really like the Islanders' chances here. They had the better goalie. No Svechnikov, which hurts Carolina. But Carolina does have a distinct coaching advantage with Ron Brind'Amour over Lane Lambert, which makes me nervous about making this Islanders pick. But I just think the Islanders are poised to surprise some people in these playoffs. And then last but not least, we have 2 and potentially 3 great series in the east side of the bracket in the first round. Toronto-Tampa is probably the best one of the 4 in the east, but this is also a great one. You have your second place in the Metro win, the New Jersey Devils, and your third place finishers in the Metro, the New York Rangers. These 2 rivals haven't played in the playoffs since 2012 or in the Eastern Conference Final when Adam Henrique scored the overtime winner against Henrik Lundqvist in Game 6 at the Prudential Center. And I think that arena is going to be rocking. But what hurts the Devils is that there's going to be a lot of Ranger fans in the building. There's going to be more Ranger fans at the Devils games than Devil fans at Madison Square Garden. There'll be Devil fans at the Garden, but not as many Ranger fans. Not as many as Ranger fans at the Rock. Best guy in the series, Jack Hughes of the Devils. I think is the best player in the series. He's just amazing. You can make a case he's the best player in the entire Metropolitan Division right now. He's just so good. He's a franchise player. He's everything the Devils dreamed of. And other guys that could be it, Igor Shesterkin, Mika Zibanejad, Patrick Kane, Chris Kreider, maybe Vitek Vanacek if he steps up, maybe Nico Hischier. But to me, Jack Hughes is the easy answer for best guy in the series. Coaching advantage. I think that Lindy Ruff should not only be a finalist for the Jack Adams Award, he should win the Jack Adams Award. Win it. I understand Boston had a dream year in the regular season, but Lindy Ruff is responsible for a huge point turnaround, and I think it is the biggest point turnaround in NHL history, so he absolutely deserves the Jack Adams Award, and they almost won the division, and the division's really good. So that's my case for Lindy Ruff, but from a playoff series standpoint, the edge goes to Gerard Gallant, who took the Rangers to the conference finals in his first year. I don't think Gallant's had the best coaching season for the Rangers, but overall, and the same goes for Sheldon Keefe. Sheldon Keefe had a better in-season than John Cooper, but John Cooper's a better coach than Sheldon Keefe. I feel the same way about Lindy Ruff and Gerard Gallant. And so, but I'll tell you this about New Jersey. They have the best assistant coach in the league. We talked about Andrew Burnett earlier. He's an assistant for Lindy Ruff on the Devils now. And I think that he has done the best job out of any assistant this year in the league. I think this is going to be a fun series. I think we'll see some overtime games. My pick, Rangers in 6 games. It's plus 470. I just think the experience wins out. And the Devils don't have that much experience compared to the Rangers, who had the experience from last year. And they get 2 guys at the trade deadline who both have won Stanley Cups, in Patrick Kane and Vladimir Tarasenko. To the West. Your top seed overall in the West is the Vegas Golden Knights, who have home ice throughout the Western Conference playoffs. They'll be playing the second wild card, the Winnipeg Jets. Best guy in the series, best player in the series, you can make a case, is Winnipeg's Mark Sheffley, who is a fabulous player for the Jets. He really didn't have the best year, though. And Kyle Connor had a great year. Like, there's a lot of guys on the Jets that have had wonderful years. And then you could argue Connor Hellebuck, Josh Morrissey, and then on the Vegas side, Jack Eichel has had an outstanding year. Chandler Stevenson. There's a lot of guys on this team that have had good years. And then Laurent Brossoit, the goalie, has just been really, really good this year in a short amount of games. And then Jonathan Quick, we'll see if he can turn back the clock a little bit here an unfortunate situation for Robin Leonard. And then Logan Thompson's hurt too, which could hurt Vegas in the series. Coaching advantage goes to Bruce Cassidy over the Jets coach, Rick Bowness. Cassidy has been to a cup final with the Bruins. And Bowness, I don't think is that good of a coach. He wasn't a good coach in Arizona. And he did an okay job in Winnipeg this year getting them to the wild card, but it took a while for them to clinch. I don't think he's the greatest coach ever. So, and my pick for the series, I'm going to go with Vegas in 6 because of their experience and their in big games from the past. So we'll go Vegas in 6. That was plus 440. Also in that bracket, your Pacific Division 2-3, Edmonton against LA, rematch from last year. Best guy in the series, there's one answer, and his name is Connor McDavid, a.k.a. Connor McJesus. He's going to win the Hart Trophy. He's so good. He is probably the greatest hockey player since Wayne Gretzky. He is that good. And Leon Draisaitl is probably the second best guy in the series, which benefits Edmonton. And then best guy for LA, Adrian Kempe had a career year this year with 41 goals. Anze Kopitar had a turn back the clock season for them. Quentin Byfield didn't play many games, but he was playing on their top line. Drew Doughty had a good year. But I'll tell you who had a good year for the Kings. Phoenix Copley, their goalie. He was an AHL goalie in Hershey with the Bears. And then the Kings signed him. And then he's just been really good. 24 wins this year. Might get some Vezina votes. But not first place votes, but maybe 5th, 6th place votes. He helped get the Kings back to the postseason, and Jonas Korpisalo comes over in the trade with Columbus. So it's going to be an interesting series. And in terms of a series outcome, I'm going to say Edmonton in 6 games. That is plus 410. And by the way, from a coaching standpoint, it's funny, Todd McClellan used to coach the Oilers. Now he coaches the Kings, so it's a little bit of a fun subplot. And then Jay Woodcroft's done a nice job for he's really done a good job for Edmonton, Jay Woodcroft. And then Woodcroft took over in the middle of last year, and they almost won the division. So the coaching, I think Woodcroft has a slight edge over McClellan, but McClellan, you would think, wants to win this series against the team he used to coach. So that's a fun subplot. So again, Oilers in 6 plus 410. All right, the Central Division bracket. You have the division-winning Colorado Avalanche against the first wildcard, the Seattle Kraken. That's going to be a fun series. Welcome to the playoffs, Seattle. Very deserving. Great second season after a disappointing first year. Best guy in the series. There's one answer only, and his name is Nathan MacKinnon of the Colorado Avalanche. He's just a monster, and we all know it. The loss of Gabriel Landeskog, I don't know if it'll hurt him this series, but it's going to hurt him in these playoffs for sure, and it absolutely takes a stab at their chances of repeating as well. Coaching advantage, I think, goes to Jared Bendar over Dave Hextall. And Hextall did a good job this year. He has to be in play for the Coach of the Year award for turning around the Kraken. I put him in my top 3 with Lindy Ruff and I guess Jim Montgomery. Although I'm a little weary about giving the Coach of the Year to a team that was supposed to be really good this year and had a dream season. So I think Hextall and Ruff both deserve Coach of the Year over Montgomery in Boston. But you could argue Hextall did a better coaching job than Bendar did this year, but Bendar's a better coach because he just won the cup. Or gets the coaching edge because he just won the cup. In terms of a pick in the series, I'm going to say the Avalanche in 6 games at plus 390. Experience is going to matter. I think the Kraken will win a game or 2. Maybe one on the road, maybe both at home. We'll see. And in terms of Seattle, guys that could step up and be best guy in the series, Jared McCann, career year. Jordan Eberle had a great year. Matty Beniers has best player of the series potential if they if they want to pull off the big upset. Vince Dunn had a fantastic year on defense for them, and then their goaltenders were okay too. Philip Grubauer, former Avs goalie Philip Grubauer, so that's a little bit of motivation there. And then Martin Jones, the former Sharks goalie. And last but not least, I think it's going to be a money series, the sleeper series of the first round. Your second place Central Division Dallas Stars, and then third in the division Minnesota Wild. Best guy in the series. I think it's Kirill Kaprizov. He is a super fun player to watch on the Minnesota Wild. And I think that he has a chance to really take his game to another level. So, that's that. And then in terms of Dallas best guy in the series, Jason Robertson. Fabulous year this year for them. Joe Pavelski had a good year. Tyler Seguin, not so much. I feel like he's on the decline of his career. And Jamie Benn had a bounce back year. So that's really good for the Dallas Stars. The coaching advantage. This is a good one. I would say Pete DeBoer over Dean Evason because DeBoer's made a final with the Devils. And I think he was the coach of the Preds when they made the final, too. I know Gerard Gallant coached the Vegas Golden Knights to the final. But I want to say DeBoer was the coach of the Preds when they made the final back in 2017. Or was it the Sharks in 16? I know he made the finals with another team. I want to say it was the San Jose Sharks in 2016. The Preds in 17 is Peter Laviolette. That's what it was. And then it was the Sharks in 16 with DeBoer. But I think Dean Eveson's done a good job with the Minnesota Wild, too. I think the series is going 7. This absolutely screams 7. I think Dallas wins because I think the experience from last year helps the leap from Robertson. I think they're deeper than the Wild. I love Kaprizov. I think he'll have a big series. I'm going to go Stars in 7. That's plus 420. I think they have the better coach, or the more proven playoff coach, I should say, in DeBoer. And I think that Jake Ottinger is going to have a big series as well. So tonight's games. So 7 o'clock on ESPN2, you have the Islanders and the Hurricanes game 1. The Canes are minus 170, Isles are plus 140, over under 5.5, overs plus 114, unders minus 140, Isles plus 1.5 is minus 184, Canes minus 1.5 is plus 152. I picked the Islanders to win the series, so I got to back them in game 1, plus 140. 7:30 ESPN, Panthers Bruins. This is probably going to be the Sean McDonough, Ray Ferraro game. Bruins minus 225, Panthers plus 184, over under 6.5, overs plus 102, unders minus 124. Panthers plus 1.5 is minus 137, Bruins minus 1.5 is plus 114. I'm going to go with over 2.5 Panther goals, minus 108. Not saying that Panthers are going to beat Boston. I could see this being 5-3, 4-3. Maybe it goes to OT. But maybe some nerves in the beginning for Boston. Who knows? 9:30 ESPN2, Wild Stars. Game 1. Wild minus 146. Stars minus 146. Wild plus 122. Over under 5.5. Overs even money. Unders minus 122. Wild plus 1.5 is minus 225. Stars minus 1.5 is plus 184. I'm going to say there will be overtime. Plus 340. For sure. I love this series. I think this has to go to overtime. And on ESPN, you have the Kings and the Oilers. Game 1. You would think this would be the Steve Levy, Brian Boucher game. Or maybe it's Leah Hextall. Who knows? And maybe John Buchacross gets the Islanders. So we'll see once, once the announcers come out. Oilers minus 194, Kings plus 158, over under 6.5, minus 10 each way. Kings plus 1.5 is minus 164, Oilers minus 1.5 is plus 136. Game 1 of the series last year, I bet the over 6.5. I'm doing it again. That to me is a no-brainer. All right, now we'll move on to soccer. I know it was a long time talking about hockey because we had to make the series picks and whatnot. So we'll start with Major League Soccer from the weekend. Saturday, DC over CF Montreal 1-0. Charlotte, Colorado 2-2 draw. New England, Columbus 1-1 draw. NYCFC over Nashville 2-1. Toronto, Atlanta 2-2 draw. Red Bulls, Houston 1-1 draw. Austin, Vancouver 0-0 draw. Chicago, Philly 2-2 draw. Dallas over Salt Lake 2-1. Orlando over Minnesota 2-1. Portland over Seattle 4-1. San Jose over KC 3-0. St. Louis over Cincinnati 5-1. And then Sunday, Galaxy over LAFC 3-2. All right, English Premier League from the weekend. Saturday, Aston Villa over Newcastle 3-0. Brighton over Chelsea 2-1. Fulham over Everton 3-1. Crystal Palace over Southampton 2-0. Wolves over Brentford 2-0. Bournemouth over Tottenham 3-2. Man City over Leicester 3-1. Sunday, West Ham Arsenal 2-2 draw. Man United over Nottingham Forest 2-0. One game today, 3 o'clock, Leeds and Liverpool. Leeds 4-1, Liverpool minus 165, draw plus 340. Liverpool's just better. I'm not betting against them. Going over 3.5 goals plus 132. Spanish La Liga, Friday. Rayo over Osasuna 2-1. Saturday, Valladolid over Villarreal 2-1. Athletic over Real Sociedad 2-0. Betis over Espanyol 3-1. Real Madrid over Cadiz 2-0. Sunday, Girona over Elche 2-0. Getafe Barcelona 0-0 draw. Atletico over Almeria 2-1. Sevilla over Valencia 2-0. One game today, 3 o'clock. You have Celta Vigo and Mallorca. Celta Vigo minus 135. Mallorca plus 440. Draw plus 220. I'm going to go with the draw plus 220. Italian Serie A, Friday. Cremonese over Empoli, 1-0. Lazio over Spezia, 3-0. Saturday, Bologna Milan, 1-1 draw. Napoli Verona, 0-0 draw. Monza over Inter Milan, 1-0. Sunday, Lecce Sampdoria, 1-1 draw. Torino, Salernitana, 1-1 draw. Sassuolo over Juventus, 1-0. And AS Roma over Udinese, 3-0. Then 2:45, Fiorentina and Atalanta. Fiorentina plus 125. Atalanta's plus 210. Draw plus 230. Go Fiorentina and home at plus 125. Next up, we will do the Women's Soccer League Friday. Portland, Houston, 1-1 draw. Saturday, Washington over North Carolina, 2-1. Gotham over Orlando, 2-0. Chicago over KC, 4-2. Angel City, Louisville, 2-2 draw. OL Reign over San Diego, 1-0. Mexican Liga Friday. Necaxa Puebla, 1-1 draw. Tijuana over Mazatlan, 2-1. Saturday, Atlas over Pachuca, 4-1. Guadalajara over Leon, 2-0. America over Cruz Azul, 3-1. Sunday, UNAM over Toluca, 3-1. Querétaro, Tigres, 0-0 draw. Santos over Monterrey, 2-1. German Bundesliga Friday. Schalke over Hertha, 5-2. Saturday, Bayern Hoffenheim, 1-1 draw. Cologne Mainz, 1-1 draw. RB Leipzig over Augsburg, 3-2. Stuttgart Dortmund, 3-3 draw. Frankfurt Gladbach, 1-1 draw. Sunday, Freiburg over Bremen, 2-1. Union Berlin Bochum, 1-1 draw. Wolfsburg Leverkusen, 0-0 draw. French League 1, Saturday, Rennes over Reims, 3-0. PSG over Lens, 3-1. Friday, Lyon over Toulouse, 2-1. And then Sunday, Lille over Montpellier, 2-1. Auxerre over Nantes, 2-1. Brest over Nice, 1-0. Clermont Foot over Angers, 2-1. Strasbourg over AC Ajaccio, 3-1. Monaco over Lorient, 3-1. Marseille over Troyes, 3-1. English League Championship. Friday, Borough over Norwich City, 5-1. Saturday, Sheffield United over Cardiff, 4-1. Blackpool over Wigan, 1-0. Millwall over Preston, 2-0. Coventry over QPR, 3-0. Reading, Burnley, 0-0 draw. Luton over Rotherham, 2-0. West Brom over Stoke, 2-1. Sunderland over Birmingham, 2-1. Swansea over Huddersfield, 1-0. Watford over Bristol City, 2-0. And Blackburn Hull, 0-0 draw. And then the last one is the Dutch Friday. Excelsior beat the Go-Ahead Eagles 2-1. RKC Waldwick over FC Groningen 2-1. Sparta over Heerenveen 4-0. Sunday, Vitesse over NEC 4-1. FC Utrecht over FC Twente 1-0. PSV over Volendam 3-2. Feyenoord over Camber 3-0. Ajax over Eamon 3-1. And AC Alkmaar over Fortuna 3-0. All right, now we'll go over the results from the RBC Heritage. Your winner with the score of 17 under and a playoff score of 10, Matt Fitzpatrick. I get a golf pick correct for the second time this year. And coming in second with a score of 17 under and a playoff score of 12, Jordan Spieth. Third with 16 under, Patrick Cantlay. Fourth with 15 under, Xander Schauffele. Tied for fifth with 14 under, Steve Thigley and Hayden Buckley. Tied for seventh with 13 under, Emiliano Grillo, Cam Davis, Sanjay M., Brian Harmon, and Sanjay M. Tied for 11th with 12 under. Mark Hubbard, Scotty Scheffler, Chesner Favorick, and Taylor Moore. Tied for 15th with 11 under. Ricky Fowler, Sam Burns, Tommy Fleetwood, John Rahm. Tied for 19th with 10 under. Tyrell Hatton, Matt Kuchar, Patrick Rogers, Ryan Henley, Christian Ziedenhout, Cam Young. Tied for 25th with 9 under. Jimmy Walker, Dylan McCarthy, Justin Rose, Justin Thomas. Tied for 29th with 8 under. Wyndham Clark and Michael Thompson. Tied for 31st with 7 under. Adam Shank, Ben Griffin, B.U. Hostler, Nate Lashley, Colin Morikawa, Corey Connors, Adam Scott, Gary Woodland, Pat Kasier, Tony Finau. Tied for 41st with 6 under. Kyungwoo Lee, Lucas Hodges, Chris Kirk, Ben Martin, James Hahn, Adam Svensson. Tied for 48th with 5 under. Aaron Ray, Keegan Bradley, Grayson Higo. Tied for 51st with 4 under. Kevin Sterling, Cam Young, Brendan Todd. Tied for 54th with 3 under. Doug Gibbs, Zach Johnson. Tied for 56 with 2 under. Scott Stallings, Danny Willett, and Ernie Els. Tied for 59th with 1 under. Victor Hovland, Matthew Neesmith, Adam Putnam, Adam Long. Tied for 63rd at even. Harry English, Lucas Herbert, Davis Thompson, Max McGreevy. Notables tied for 67th with 1 over. Austin Smotherman, Shane Lowry, Joaquin Herman, Lucas Donald. 71st with 4 over. Justin Lowry, 72nd with 5 over. Kramer Heacock, 73rd with 8 over. Justin Sue among those cut. Trey Merritt, Davis Lipsky, Joel Dahman, Evan Van Rooyen, Taylor Pendrith, Callum Tarrant, Alex Valiant, Robert Strav, JT Potson, Stuart Sinks, Davis Riley, Sam Piercy, Minwuli, Sudi Kadiara, Trey Mullinax, Andrew Landry, Kurt Katayama, Matt McBealy, Grayson Sieg, Ryan Palmer, Jason Hadley, Thomas Dietrich, Kevin Tway, Tyler Duncan, Webb Simpson, Sam Ryder, Brandon Wu, Scott Stevens, Matthias Schwab, JJ Spawn, Robert Brebb, Doc Redman, Brett Horschel, Mackenzie Hughes, Cheng Sapong, Wesley Bryant, Taylor Montgomery, Saibu Kim, Nicholas Echevarria, Nate Hardy, Stefan Yeager, Max Homa, Kelly Kraft, Ryan Moore, Adam Hadwin, Peter Malnati, Martin Laird, Keith Mitchell, Lucas Griffin, Richie Runsky, Chad Ramey, Jason Duffner, Ben Taylor, Cam Champ, Tommy Gibson, Substraka, Davis Love, Lucas Glover, Taylor Hogue, Seamus Power, Brendan Gay, Russell Nux, Matt Walsh, and withdrawing Dylan Fratelli, Kevin Kisner, and Ryan Fox. Next tournament is Mexico Championship, which is not this week, but next week. So we have a little bit of a break from golf. All right, NASCAR results from the weekend. We will start with the Truck Series. Your winner of the race was Corey Heim. Coming in second was Kyle Busch. Coming in third, Zane Smith. Fourth, Ty Majeski. Fifth, Tanner Gray. Sixth, Ben Rhodes. Seventh, Matthew Medetto. Eighth, Tanner Gray. Ninth, William Sawalich. 10th, Chase Purdy. The rest, Nick Sanchez, Ross Chastain, Jake Garcia, Grant Effinger, Christian X, Chris Wright, Colby Howard, Connor Jones, Timmy Hale, Haley Deegan, Dean Thompson, Brett Holmes, Spencer Boyd, Memphis Villarreal, Raja Caruth, Matt Crafton, Tyler Ankrum, Caden Honeycutt, Jonathan Schaefer, Grant Effinger, I believe was after, or no, Stuart Friesen, Daniel Dye, Lawless Allen, Mason Massey, Carson Hosfar, Brad Perez, and Stephen Malozzi. And Xfinity, your winner, John Hunter Nemechek. Coming in second, Sammy Smith. Third, Cole Custer. Fourth, Josh Berry. Fifth, Brendan Jones. Sixth, Justin Allgaier. Seventh, Daniel Hemrick. Eighth, Derek Kraus. Ninth, Brett Moffitt. 10th, Chandler Smith. The rest, Parker Retzlaff, Ryan Truex, Blaine Perkins, Jeb Burton, Kaz Gralla, Austin Hill, Parker Kligerman, Ryan Sieg, Josh Williams, Jeremy Earnhardt, Patrick Emmerling, Matt Mills, Greg Gaulding, Anthony Alfredo, Leyland Honeyman, Alex Labb, Sheldon Creed, Ryan Ellis, Brennan Poole, Riley Herbst, Sam Meyer, Jeremy Clements, Connor Mozak, Kyle Weatherman, Kyle Sieg, Dawson Cram, Joe Graff Jr., and Caden Honeycutt. And the Cup race. Your winner, Kyle Larson. Coming in second, Joey Logano. Third, Martin Truex Jr. Fourth, Denny Hamlin. Fifth, Chase Briscoe. Sixth, Eric Almirola. Seventh, Ryan Blaney. Eighth, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Ninth, Bubba Wallace. 10th, Chase Elliott. The rest, Alex Bowman, Austin Dillon, Ross Chastain, Chris Boucher, Ryan Preece, Chris Bell, Daniel Suarez, Ty Gibbs, Michael McDowell, Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, Tyler Riddick, William Byron, Brad Keselowski, Todd Gilliland, Corey LaJoie, AJ Allmendinger, Justin Haley, Harrison Burton, Noah Gragson, Eric Jones, Ty Dillon, Austin Cindric, Zane Smith, Anthony Alfredo, JJ Yeley. Alrighty. Now I'll move on to last night's episode of American Idol. It was an interesting show to say the least. I'm going to be very quick with going over the performances and making my predictions on who goes home from this particular group. of contestant. First up was Elise Christine performing Holding Out for a Hero by Bonnie Tyler. She did really well. Oliver Steele went next, Better Together by Jack Johnson. He was okay. Matt Wilson, Speechless by Dan and Shay. Very, very excellent performance. I was impressed. Kyara, Don't Let Go, Love by En Vogue. She was pretty good. PJ did Golden by Jill Scott. I don't think that was his best. Then Alan Stone performed. He was the guest mentor. He performed Is This Love by Bob Marley. He was awesome to watch. Zachariah Smith performed Lucille by Little Richard. I think he was fantastic. That was his best performance yet. Mariah Faith performed You Should Probably Leave by Chris Stapleton. I thought she was pretty good. Emma Boosie performed Lay Me Down by Sam Smith. She was phenomenal. Warren P. performed Set Fire to the Rain by Adele. I thought that was an interesting song choice for him. Nyla Serenity performed Lovin' You by Minnie Riperton. I thought she was great. Haven Madison performed The Middle by Zed, Maren Morrison Gray. I didn't think that was her best either. Lucy Love performed What's Love Gotta Do With It by Tina Turner. I thought she was pretty good. And then Ian Tongi performed Don't Let Go by Spoon Breezy, and he was outstanding. The three contestants of this group that I think will be sent home: Kyara, Oliver, and PJ. I don't think those contestants had their better performances. So, safe I have Elise, Matt, Zachariah, Mariah, Emma, Warren, Nyla, Haven, Lucy, and Ian. So, part 2 of the top 26 is tonight. So, it's going to be interesting to see how that unfolds. Okay, now we will do my latest NFL mock draft. We're going to do 3 mock drafts this week with the draft coming up in a week and a half. So, here we go. The Carolina Panthers, I have taken Bryce Young. Obviously the picks from the Chicago Bears, they trade up. I think that this is the right choice for the Panthers. I think despite his size, Bryce is going to be a star in the league. He's very polished. Number 2, the Houston Texans, C.J. Stroud, quarterback, Ohio State. Consolation prize, C.J. Stroud, he's great, but I don't think he's as good as Bryce Young. I think it would be a good fit with Bobby Slovic, the new Texans offensive coordinator. Number 3, the Arizona Cardinals, Will Anderson, edge rusher, Alabama. This pick behind the field's obvious. If they stay at 3, I think they should trade down because it's not a good team right now. But Anderson feels like the guy there. 4, Indianapolis Colts, Anthony Richardson, the quarterback from Florida. No secret that the Colts want a quarterback. Richardson has so much potential, but I personally just not sold on him. 5, the Seattle Seahawks from the Denver Broncos, Jalen Carter, defensive tackle, Georgia. I think this is a great pick for Seattle. But you can make a case they should trade down or even take a quarterback. Off-field issues could hurt Carter's stock. Potentially. 6, Detroit Lions from the Los Angeles Rams, Christian Gonzalez, cornerback, Oregon. Detroit needs to go defense with both their picks. They're the early favorites in this division. And I think Gonzalez would be a solid fit replacing former draft pick, the guy they just traded to the Falcons, Okuda. 7, Las Vegas Raiders, Tyree Wilson, edge, Texas Tech. Wilson's somebody that's getting a lot of hype to go as high as 5th. He's a very fast player, and him and Max Crosby together would be a lot of fun. 8, the Atlanta Falcons, Miles Murphy, edge, Clemson. You could argue Murphy would be a reach here, and the Falcons going for the need at the pick rather than trading down. Very versatile player as well. 9, the Chicago Bears from the Carolina Panthers. Paris Johnson, offensive tackle, Ohio State. The Bears did a great job in that trade with the Panthers, getting DJ Moore and all those picks, including this one. Johnson makes sense. They need help on their offensive line to protect Justin Fields. 10, the Philadelphia Eagles from the New Orleans Saints. Lucas Van Ness, edge of Iowa. Van Ness, I feel like, is a fast riser. I think him going at 10 would be a reach for Philly. Very raw prospect. Number 11, the Tennessee Titans. Will Levis, quarterback, Kentucky. I think the Titans are a bit of a wild card. Maybe they move up and take Levis. But I think Levis could follow them right at 11, which would be pretty cool. 12, the Houston Texans from the Cleveland Browns. Jackson Smith Njigba, wide receiver, Ohio State. Texans have needs everywhere, as we know. And it'd be funny, them and getting C.J. Stroud and Smith Njigba to reunite. That would be a fun subplot. 13, the New York Jets. Peter Skoronski, offensive tackle, Northwestern. Let's say the Jets keep this pick and don't trade it to Green Bay in the Rodgers deal. They need protection. Skoronski is arguably the best lineman in the draft. Just very steady player. 14, the New England Patriots. Devin Witherspoon, quarterback, Illinois. Witherspoon falling to 14, I think, would be a steal for New England, who have needs everywhere all of a sudden. I think he's somebody that has frame questions, but has good fluidity. 15, Green Bay Packers. Michael Mayer, tight end, Notre Dame. Personally, I think the Packers should go with a combination of need and best guy available. This is all of a sudden a rebuilding team now that Rodgers is almost out the door. But Mayer would be a very strong, big weapon for Jordan Love. 16, the Washington Commanders. Joey Porter, cornerback, Penn State. The Commanders could take a quarterback, or this could be going to the Baltimore Ravens for Lamar Jackson. Porter, Commanders, good fit. But Porter is a handsy player, which could hurt his stock. 17, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Broderick Jones, offensive tackle, Georgia. Great pick for Pittsburgh. Kenny Pickett needs protection. So this makes a lot of sense. 18, the Detroit Lions. Bryant Brees, defensive tackle, Clemson. Like I said, Lions need to go defense with both their picks, especially to help out that weak front seven. Brees had a rough few years on and off the field, but he does have the upside to be a great pro. 19, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Nolan Smith, edge, Georgia. The Bucs are another team in a de facto rebuild too, so they need youth everywhere. Smith is a freak and would fit well in Todd Bowles' defensive scheme. 20, the Seattle Seahawks. Deontay Banks, cornerback, Maryland. There's a lot of receiver buzz here for the Seahawks with this pick, but there's more needs on this roster. Banks could match up with NFL guys. He's that good. 21, Los Angeles Chargers. Jalen Hyatt, wide receiver, Tennessee. I could see a big receiver run at this point in the draft. Hyatt is someone that could absolutely stretch the field. Be a great weapon for Justin Herbert. 22, the Baltimore Ravens. Quentin Johnson, wide receiver, TCU. The Ravens need a receiver, whether Lamar's back or not, and that's with the addition of Odell Beckham Jr. Johnson had the best season among receivers in college this past year at TCU. Great run routes, good hands. Number 23, the Minnesota Vikings. Cam Smith, cornerback, South Carolina. The Vikings badly need help in their secondary, even with the addition of Byron Murphy. Smith is an explosive player. Would be good in Brian Flores' defense. Number 24, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Darnell Wright, offensive tackle, Tennessee. The Jags are close to contending, and you can make a case that this pick has to be nailed. Offensive line is an area of need with Juwan Taylor gone to the Chiefs, and Wright. I think he go higher than this. He has raw power and good movement skills. 25, the New York Giants. Zay Flowers, wide receiver, Boston College. Daniel Jones is now handsomely paid. So the Giants need to keep producing talent around him. Flowers had really good production this past year. Very fun player. 26, the Dallas Cowboys. Darnell Washington, tight end from Washington. Wait. Is he really from Washington? Or no, he's from Georgia. That makes more sense now. Washington's getting a lot of late first-round buzz. Cowboys have a tight end need as they lost Dalton Schultz. He is the athleticism and size, and he is a great blocker. 27, the Buffalo Bills. Drew Sanders, linebacker, Arkansas. The Bills don't have any obvious needs, but linebacker would be wise because of the loss of Tremaine Edmonds. Sanders coming off a big year. He's versatile. 28, the Cincinnati Bengals. Bijan Robinson, running back, Alabama. This pick makes a ton of sense considering the future of Joe Mixon being uncertain. Robinson, arguably the best running back to be drafted since Saquon Barkley. Absolute game changer offensively. It would be for Joe Burrow. 29, the New Orleans Saints from the San Francisco 49ers via the Miami Dolphins and the Denver Broncos. Keon White, edge, Georgia Tech. Saints might do something stupid or crazy, but it does feel like they're going to go pass rush here. Obvious need for them. He can play on the inside and the outside, so he's pretty versatile. Number 30, the Philadelphia Eagles. Osiris Torrance, guard, Florida. The Eagles can go in a number of directions, including a trade down. Good pick here for the Birds for Torrance. NFL ready, has size and power, and Isaac Samuel left to go to the Steelers in free agency, so Torrance would be a good replacement. And 31, the Kansas City Chiefs. DeJuan Jones, offensive tackle, Ohio State. Jones is a fast riser with a week and a half left until the draft. He's drawn comparisons to former Chief Orlando Brown due to his size and athleticism, and has really improved as a blocker this past season and would fit nicely on that right side. All right, so that's it for the mock, and now we'll do really quick news and notes. We were going to do MLB Power Rankings, but we'll save them for tomorrow's show because we didn't have enough time. So we're just going to do random. So Cody Bellinger robbed Jason Hayward of a homer, and he got heavily booed. There was a flock of people near Shohei Ohtani yesterday. There was a possum leaving the A's stadium. Away teams have been unable to use visiting broadcast booth at Coliseum due to a possum living inside its walls. Whew. Big contract extension for Pablo Lopez, 4 years, $73.5 million. 1.73 ERA to start the year. And the Giants signed Logan Webb, 4 years, $90 million. So that's another good extension there. DeAndre Hopkins says he doesn't want a raise. How do you not want a raise? I think he wants a trade, more so. There's reports that Dalvin Cook could be cut. That would be very interesting. Josh Jacobs and Evan Ingram skipping voluntary program workouts. Not surprised. Jets made a similar offer to Odell Beckham Jr., but didn't match or didn't offer as much guaranteed money. Buda Baker requests a trade from the Cardinals. That is very interesting. We'll see where he ends up. There's a lot of teams in need of a safety. Anthony Richardson's still in the mix for first overall, which is wild. And he's also visited the Titans. We talked about some of the big injuries in the playoffs. Giannis with the back contusion. We'll see if he comes back for game 2. John Morant. Hard fall. With the wrist injury. Tyler Herro out 4 to 6 weeks. Due to a middle and ring finger being broken. That's brutal. Breaking NFL news right now. Eagles, Jalen Hurts, 5 years, $255 million contract extension, the highest paid player in NFL history. Holy crap. That's a bomb. An absolute bomb of breaking news. The Eagles had to get this done. Patrick Mahomes is somewhere shaking his head like, I thought I was going to be the highest paid player in NFL history. But yeah, the Eagles were just so desperate to keep Hurts after the fabulous year he had. MVP worth a year for Hurts. Probably would have won it if he didn't get injured. $110 million guaranteed, according to Ian Rappaport. $126.5 million fully guaranteed before year 2. Whoo! A raise this year, including a $23.294 million signing bonus, signed through Philly through 2028. Oh, baby. That's for sure. Don't you love breaking news on the podcast? So Julius Randle came back for game 1 for the Knicks, so which was good. The Laker guys all played. The crazy thing is that the Knicks are now favored over the Cavs. On Saturday, a wild ejection in the Yankees game. Rocco Baldelli gets ejected after the umpires had a lengthy glove and hand check on Yankees pitcher Domingo Germán. Carlos Correa loves getting booed in New York. It's gasoline in your Ferrari. Whew. Michael Kay had a accidental home run call in the Yankees game. He goes a long home run. Oh, no, it's a double. It was so funny. And the emphatic, there it goes, see ya. But nope. And then, speaking of Stanton, bad news for him. Injured list, MRI. And then he'll be out 4 to 6 weeks. He had the MRI. That's a brutal loss for the Yankees. And Oswald Peraza is on the Yankees for now until Josh Donaldson comes back. The Mets are have called up Brett Beatty. Well deserved for Brett Beatty. So if the Clippers get by the Suns, Paul George is aiming his return in the semis. The league suspends Miles Bridges. He'll serve his last 10 games of 30-game suspension for domestic violence in charge of the domestic violence charge if he signs an NBA contract next season. NBA fines the Mavericks $750,000 as they violated player arresting policy in an elimination game against the Bulls to try to keep their first round pick. And let's hope they lose the first round pick. The Miami Heat trolled DeMar DeRozan's daughter, Dyer, and she received online threats as she was escorted out of Scotiabank Arena Wednesday after severe threats that were directed at her. Lauri Markkanen had to shave his head as he's reporting to the Finnish military today. E40 was at the Kings game, and there was some racial bias. As he wants the Kings to investigate an incident where he escorted out of the game. So we'll see what happens there. So the NBA award finalists have been revealed. Tonight, Defensive Player of the Year is going to be announced. So we'll start with that. Jaren Jackson Jr., Brooke Lopez, Evan Mobley. I think Triple J will win. I think Brooke Lopez will come in second, and Evan Mobley will come in third. Kia NBA Clutch Player of the Year, Jimmy Butler, DeMar DeRozan, De'Aaron Fox. I think Fox wins that. Second will be Butler. Third will be Fox. The most improved player, the finalists are Jalen Brunson, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Lauri Markkanen. I think Markkanen will win that. Shai will come in second, and Brunson third. The Rookie of the Year, Paolo Banchero, Walker Kessler, Jalen Williams. I think Banchero will win that. Jalen Williams will come in second, and Walker Kessler third. The Coach of the Year, you have Mike Brown, Mark Daigneault, and Joe Mazzulla. I think Brown wins that easily. Daigneault second, and Joe Mazzulla third. I can't believe Joe Mazzulla is a finalist for that. There's a ton of other guys that deserve to be finalists over Mazzulla. Not that Mazzulla did a bad job, but I think there's a lot of good coaches in the NBA, and the Celtics having that slide, I think, opened up the door for some other people. Sixth Man of the Year, Malcolm Brogdon, Bobby Portis Jr., and Emmanuel Quickley. I think Quickley wins that. Brogdon second, Portis third. And last but not least, the most valuable player, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Joel Embiid, Nikola Jokic. I'm going to say Embiid wins. Giannis second, Jokic third, but I don't feel good about second and third, but I feel good about first. For sure. So, Nikola Vucevic opened the testing the free agent market. The Pistons are targeting Kevin Ollie for its head coaching vacancy. Shams came down with breaking news right now. Hip-hop artist and Bay Area legend E40 will not attend Game 2 of Warriors King Sacramento due to alleging racial bias from Game 1 venue security per a representative. He plans to attend Game 3 at Chase Center. So, I want to see what's more of that. Jeffrey Springs out 2 months with an elbow injury. Big loss for the Rays. Rangers captain Jacob Trouba gifts fan scholarship as he surprised a boy, Isaiah, who survived the 2012 Sandy Hook shooting with a full law school scholarship. That is amazing. Memphis commit Mikey Williams arrested on 5 counts of assault with a firearm. That's brutal. 5-star recruit, by the way. A lot of big changes in hockey. The Capitals fired Pierre Laviolette after finally make the postseason. That's not surprising. I think there's going to be a lot of interesting names open for that job. Columbus fires Brad Larson. That's not surprising. Eastern Conference's worst record. And then the Pittsburgh Penguins clean house. This news broke right after I recorded the Friday podcast. Brian Burke out, Ron Hextall out after missing the postseason, but Mike Sullivan stays. This is very surprising to me that the front office guys got the axe and not Sullivan. But the front office probably deserved the axe. because they made some moves that were questionable at the deadline and they didn't pan out and they didn't make the postseason in result of it. So the Penguins probably did the right thing, and I'm very interested to see who they hire for those roles. Alrighty, last but not least, my best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. I know, very long show today. So I'm going to see if history repeats itself here. I'm going to hockey. I'm laying a half unit, and I'm taking the over 6.5 in the Kings-Oilers game. I think that it's going to be a very high-octane, high-scoring game. So I'm going to go over 6.5 goals, -110, between the Edmonton Oilers and the Los Angeles Kings. All right, so that's it for the show. I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything and looking ahead to everything tomorrow as well. Hope you guys have a great day, everyone.